This the Mixtape Queens.
Welcome to another fire episode of the Mixtape Queens Podcast, where we bring you the hottest and most talented artists in the music industry.
Today's guest is a Little Rock-based artist we met in 2021. We were so blown away by his music when we first heard it on Instagram that we drove all the way to Little Rock just to hear him live. Okay? Welcome, Penn Davis.
Welcome.
So I just want everybody that's listening to know how big of fans we are of this man. We listen to Penn Davis's music every day.
Literally. I'm going to give a little backstory about how we found you on Instagram. And it happened after Amanda and I met. You know, after the first year, we made it through COVID and all that stuff. And then we started getting real serious in our relationship. And I said, I think, it's time for us I want to get married and like most people say have a baby, but I'm like, start a business because, we both wanted to improve our life. So I showed her all this stuff I had been doing for the past 10 years, doing graphic design, photography, mainly out of Phoenix and Colorado. But, I was ready to start back up again. So we said, okay, let's do it. So we kind of revamped the Mixtape Queen, which was just one queen at the time. And we hashtag Arkansas or Little Rock Rapper. I think it was either Arkansas Rapper or Little Rock Rapper. And we came across your page, just you doing one of your raps on a reel. And, I was blown away. And I hit you up and I was like, hey, I'm the Mixtape Queen. And you're like, how do I know you're not a catfish? So, so I said, dang, that's true. So I better put my face on there. I even sent you my private page. And I said, look, you can FaceTime me. I'll show you I'm not a catfish. So we talked and we chopped it up and you were real cool. So I just want to thank you because ever since then, I made damn sure that people knew I wasn't a catfish. And now look at us here years later. And we got one of the top podcasts in the world for music podcasts.
Yeah. Oh, no, I say, bro, first off, I gotta apologize. I do remember that. I remember thinking, it was just because at the time, a lot of people were like losing their pages. Like people were like messaging them, like, "Hey, what's up, what's up?" And so like I was getting a lot of those frequently around that time. So I do remember saying that, and I was like, "Well, how do I know that you're not, a catfish who's trying to like, hack my account or something like that?" I don't know why my mom jumped like that, but like I have a hard time responding to like DMs from people like who don't have pictures of themselves on their pages because I feel like this might not be legit, if that makes sense. But yeah, I remember you even sent me like I think the next day we actually FaceTimed, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, I remember that well. So I appreciate you guys, I say, because that was my fault. I thought that I was being catfish, so I do apologize for that.
No, that's great advice. And you're right to be wary of strange people messaging you because not even too long after that, we ended up getting some kind of stalkers that were stealing all of our artwork and calling themselves the Mixtape Queen _ or something.
Yeah.
And trying to scam our clients. So yeah, people got to be careful out there. There's a lot of scams going on.
A lot of phishing. I think that's what it's called. I say. I mean, I feel victim to it myself over the last year, but it wasn't even on social media. It was just a phone call. I thought I was talking to somebody for real, and it wasn't the person who I thought that I was talking to. And once I realized that, of course, I got off the phone. By that time, they had already had some of my personal information, so I had to go through a whole process of redoing my whole bank account number and everything. So.
Me, and that's why we feel like you're smart for even saying like, I don't know if you're just your bad. I just met you.
Yeah. But I say you guys are good people. I say you guys came to my job, I think, to even buy a ticket originally. I used to work at a liquor store in Little Rock. You guys came over there. I remember that. So Yeah,
Yeah.
you guys are good people.
Aw, well, we try to be. I mean, we hold on to our picture that we took with you at the Homegirl Festival. We're like,
Yeah.
this is us and Penn Davis. We're gonna hold on to it forever because one day when you're a billionaire and one of the best rappers in the world, like we know you are, we'll be like, we met him
Right.
before it even happened.
Then there you go. And I said, those are the people who I appreciate the most.
There you go.
Absolutely. I gotta say, I might have a bit of a good taste when it comes to finding you because when you pulled up to the festival, we were waiting for you to get there, and you said you were gonna be there a little later. And we watched you walk in, and everybody turned and wanted to shake your hand and say hi to you. So I said, okay, okay. And then, we got to meet Como Sasaki and
Yeah.
Dada Man, a bunch of
Yeah.
people.
Kaya Blade,
Yep.
Lauren Kiera, Lauren Kiera, yeah, all of them.
Yeah. Those are great. And all of those are great. Like Little Red Artists. Almost Sasaki is probably one of my favorite artists. It's just part like just rappers, like just lyrical ability wise. I really do like him a lot. So, and I like Dada. I like Lauren. Lauren just dropped a new single, by the way. So
Yeah, we did the
um,
cover.
you guys did.
Yeah.
I say I didn't even know that. I haven't listened to it yet. I've been busy like over the last few weeks. But I do plan. I probably now that you guys told me that, as soon as we get off here, I got a few errands to run. I'm gonna go check. I'm gonna listen to it while I'm
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
running my errands.
So,
That's good though. I didn't know you guys did the cover. That's dope, man.
yeah, we did a bunch of stuff, and we're really impressed with Little Rock artists. It's got a lot of talent in Arkansas.
Something
Oh
in the
man,
water.
they do. They do. I mean, you said you're from Phoenix though, right?
Well, I'm from Las Vegas.
Yeah, Las Vegas is cool. I imagine I haven't been there before.
So, we've gotten to know you a little bit over the years, but we want to find out more about you and let our listeners and the fans who are listening get to know about Penn Davis.
Right.
So, can you tell us about your first memories of music and, who were some of your early influences?
Um. Okay. Yeah. I say, man, my first memories of music come back with my uncle. We used to, well, as far as rap music goes, we used to ride around in his car, or sometimes he would like. I grew up with like my aunt or whatever, so like my uncle, and it's not like her husband, it's her brother. So he would come over, and sometimes he would burn her car, and he would just take me, around with him, and he would always play like rap music. So my earliest memories of just rap music was him playing LL Cool J, from like the '80s, and it's like probably like 2000 or 2001 right now. He's playing this stuff, and I just thought it sounded so cool, and I remember us listening to it one day, and he was like, "Hey, J Bug, you try to freestyle." That's what they call me. My nickname was J Bug. Well, my family calls me J Bug. So he was, J Bug, you try to freestyle. And so I'm like 5, and I was like, "Okay, cool, I'll try it." And of course, I was nervous, and I remember rapping. It was just like so cringe, it was awful. And so he knew how to freestyle, so he would just take time to just show me how to do it just for fun. It's just something. My uncle was like my idol, so I thought he was the coolest person ever. Walk the earth. So I started just doing what he was doing, and that went from age 5 to age 12, and I got pretty decent at freestyling in my mind or whatever. And so I had a cousin who he couldn't rap, but he knew song structure. So he taught me that rap songs at the time, they're not like this anymore, but at the time they consisted of 16 bar verses and 8 bar choruses or hooks. And it's 3 verses, 3 hooks. So you do, your first 16, then you do your chorus, then your second 16, then your chorus, then your third 16, your chorus, and then the song is done. So he taught me that. And then he taught me how to write, how to measure out 16 bars and know that I wrote a full verse of rap. And so from there, that's like age 12, I just started writing. And my name wasn't Penn Davis at the time. It was a whole different rap name. But yeah, so it started with my uncle. And so my idol at the time was my uncle. And then my cousin. And then probably on a bigger scale, when I first started rapping, my idol was LL Cool J. And then there's this like Bay Area rapper named Spice One. When I was like 13, I just really looked up to Spice One. He's like a gangster rapper though, but he's from the 90s. But I only looked up to him because again, my uncle liked him a lot. So I liked whatever my uncle liked. And then when I got to high school, well, in like middle school, I found Drake, but Drake wasn't like popular yet. Like maybe he had just dropped. He has a mixtape called Room for Improvement, and then he dropped another one called Comeback Season. This is before his albums and stuff like that. And I was really big on Drake. I remember going to LimeWire and I was like, I'm just gonna download every song that says Drake's name in it. And then by high school, I started listening to like Lupe Fiasco, and I got big on him. Man. There, that was it. The rest is history.
I feel like Lupe Fiasco does not get enough praise and appreciation because he is a really great artist. And, I'm like, how crazy is it that we get to work with somebody that's as artistic and creative as all these people that he looked up to? Like, it's not better. No, seriously, though. You are a magnificent artist. And for those to be your role models, that's so cool.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, thank you. I say, yeah, I feel like, yeah, Lupe definitely doesn't get enough credit. But once again, I understand it. I mean, he's not really making a mainstream or marketable sound these days. I mean, he kind of is. Certain artists who kind of sacrifice their commercial success for their like artistic integrity. And to a certain extent, I respect it, man. So I think he's just one of those guys who talks about he has a song where I remember he was talking about like deforestation. And I was like, what rapper is talking about deforestation? That is really cool, but obviously from a marketable standpoint, somebody probably wouldn't want to listen to that, you know what I mean? So but I love it. I love it. And I would like to say once again, I do appreciate you guys, because I don't often think that I'm in the same category as the people I look up to. But to know that people who listen to me think that does make me feel good.
Well, you obviously have your own sound, of course, but with what you just told us about these people that influenced you and their sound and their lyrics really made an impact on your life. You can see how you kind of took that into your own and just crafted it the Penn Davis way.
Just wow.
Yes, it's always interesting finding out who someone's influences are because it makes sense a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So you were young in high school when you really started figuring out that you could rap, right? So when is the first time you started recording, and when did you realize that you could really do this and you started getting serious?
Well, I'll say, well, that's the first time I really started recording. I was like in 8th grade when I realized, like, as far as like, oh no, I really might have something. Like in 8th grade, I felt like I was just the hardest dude around, and my raps were not good in 8th grade. Oh, they were so cringe. I still remember some of them where the confidence piece was there, so that's all that matters at that point early on. You just build confidence in the ability to keep trying. So I started recording. I had my big cousin, his name is Y.K.W.S.A. He's my engineer to this day. So um he's like a distant cousin. So he's not like first, second, third. He's like sixth, seventh, eighth. So we met when I was like 13, but we were related, and he's older than me. So he's like he's probably about, I think Y.K.W.S.A. might be 39 or 40 right now. But we met when I was 13, and I think he made like a deal with me, like, hey, I got my own studio. If you make good grades, I'll let you record in my studio. And so, he charges for studio time. So at the time, he was just like doing it off the low. Like it was free. So I was probably in like, by that time, like 9th or 10th grade, by the time we started actually recording music. And so I recorded like a mixtape back when like people used to just rap on like other people's like popular beats or whatever and just make songs out of them, like in that really heavy mixtape era. Um, so I did that, and then my 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 mind was just not, I don't want to say it in a bad way, but just limited at the time because my biggest thing in my mind was get popular at the school, like just as far as like rap goes. So I just want the whole high school to know like, hey, I was the best rapper. That was it. So when I put out my project, that was all I was focused on, just impressing people at high school, which I was young and malleable, so that's cool. Um, and then I graduated and I went to college, and I really didn't I really didn't like take it dead serious. I had like an album that I was working on, but it wasn't really, it was like recreational. Like I was never really approaching it like, yo, I'm gonna be a rapper one day. Like it was just something I like to do. So to answer your question in a short way, I guess, I really didn't start like saying, yo, this is really what I want to do and this is what I'm going to do until that last project, that If Not Me, Then Who. Like that's literally, I have 2 albums before that, but I feel like that's the first album where I was like really saying like, no, I actually do want to be a rapper, like for real. Like I don't want to do anything else. So it took me till I was about 24, 25 to really figure out, no, I actually do want to rap for real. Like I don't want to just kind of do it as a fun thing. Because the albums before that was just like, this is fun to me. It's cool. If that answers your question.
Yeah, it definitely does. And just want to say real quick, shout out to the big cousin, first of all, because I love a positive role model that sees something that inspires you or gets you excited when you're young like that and you're trying to figure out what you want to do. You need family members that are willing to do stuff like that, like tell you, oh, well, I'll record you in the studio if you bring me some good grades.
Yeah,
That is so
definitely.
important.
Yeah, I say yeah, definitely. It was the incentive boost I needed because I was just, it was cool. So I was like, man, I get to record. All I gotta do is come home with, and it was, all I have to do is make A's and B's. So I was like, okay, cool. That sounds like a plan to me. So I mean, that was my thing. I was like, man, if I can keep my grades up, I could just go to the studio. That's it. So it gave me, because I mean, in high school, I really wasn't like, I wasn't the best student, but I wasn't the worst student. I didn't really care about grades that much. So it gave me like a reason to care about my grades, if that makes sense.
Social media game changers. Are you ready to take your brand to the next level?
It's time to step up your game with the Mixtape Queens. We specialize in all things social media, from graphic design, music, photography, and videos. We got everything you need.
Whether you're a business looking to boost your brand, an influencer looking to expand your following, or wanting to just get yourself heard, the Mixtape Queens got you.
Want to contact us? Go to our website at mixtapequeens.com. Yes, that's pretty cool. I bet you're glad that, in high school, y'all didn't have streaming like it was today, because otherwise we could download those little Penn Davis, songs or whatever your name was back then. So,
Oh, they're definitely out there.
Oh, they are?
Yeah, when I was in high school, we didn't have like Apple Music or Spotify, but we did have Dat Piff and Spinrilla. I definitely have a hidden mixtape of Dat Piff, but it's not under the name Penn Davis. I say very few people, maybe the people who I went to high school with at that time know the name of that project, but it's hidden. It's like a 15-year-old Penn Davis out there.
I want to hear that.
Oh,
I'm gonna go listen to it.
you don't want to hear that.
I'm gonna do some research.
Yeah, I say that's an Easter egg. If you find that, I'll be thoroughly impressed.
Okay, well, I'm not gonna push you too hard on it, but I think it's pretty cool. So, it took you a while to really build that confidence, right? Because it started, you said 8th grade, you started knowing you wanted to be the best rapper in the school.
Yeah.
And then later on in your 20s, you started saying, okay, now it's really getting serious. So since that moment when it really clicked for you and you decided that, you really enjoy doing this, it's kind of a calling for you, what are some of the issues that you faced when trying to pursue your dream of music?
Well, I say the biggest issue that I face now, I mean, and I really don't worry about the externals. I try not to. I try to focus on, I guess, what I can control. So the biggest thing right now for me is just consistency. That's the biggest issue. I say, I realized, so once I decided in my 20s, I was just like, man, I really do want to do this. It's not like something I just want to do for fun. Because I had spent my early 20s, like when I graduated high school, I went to college because my people wanted me to go. So I went to college for them, and I was just like, oh, okay. And then I didn't even know what major I wanted to pick. So a professor said, you'd be a great teacher. So I picked, my major based off what somebody else wanted me to do. And then when I graduated from college, I was like, man, well, I won't even go into, teaching or anything. I'll just, find something that I want to do because I didn't get the time. I don't ever feel like I really had time to figure out what I want to do. And so somebody was like, okay, man, I hear what you're saying, but please just apply for this school. My kid works there. I think it'd be cool for y'all. So I applied for that school and I got the job or whatever. And so now I'm teaching and I look up, I'm like 22 at this time, and I've yet to do anything that I felt like I wanted to do that other people, I only did the things that I did because other people wanted me to do them. So there's a whole lot of people pleasing in that time. So when I picked to for real be a rapper, I was like, that was, even if it was a bad decision, I was happy with the decision because it was the first decision I feel like I 100% made for myself. Um, so once I quit, I said, yeah, my biggest issue is, it's just consistency. And just pretty much trying to figure out how to effectively market the thing you got because me and my friends say it like I had a talent and I don't mean that in a cocky way, but I do have I'm not stupid. I understand that I have a talent that a lot of like artists don't have. And all I need is the stage to put it on. So how do I get myself to those stages? Because I say in this industry, I guess you need people to listen to you. So how do I get in front of a lot of people consistently? Um, and so I've learned now through just watching people like even if their music isn't like the best, like if you look at Ice Spice, I think her marketing is like there's something crazy going on there because when she came out, she was like expected to be like a one hit wonder, with You Thought I Was Feeling You song, and then after that, it's like she refused to be a one hit wonder. Like she just consistently stayed in people's face with not just marketing that one song. She quickly moved on to the next song. So it's just that consistency piece.
Yes, that's so true. I don't really listen to Ice Spice either, but I do respect. There's something that I respect about artists who don't give up.
Yeah. I don't listen to her music either, but I say she refused to, and I just admire that one piece of her. She refused to stop. Like she could have just been, you had this one viral song, and you could see like TikToks of her performing that song, and nobody knows the words to it except for like that one line that You Thought I Was Feeling You, and like it just gets quiet, and that could be intimidating. But for some reason, she didn't. She quickly moved on to another song. Like, damn, she in her mood, or that boy's a liar. She just kept dropping like these songs, and I guess it worked out because I seen she was at like Met Gala or whatever, and I was just like, man, that's crazy. Was she or Glorilla? Like Glorilla refused to, she like in a matter of a year, she went from just being a girl who was known in Memphis as a rapper, and she went. I don't know if she's worldwide, but she definitely went nationwide. In less than a year, you have a song with Cardi B now. You know what I'm saying? And you have all these other looks with all these other rappers. I don't know. I just think it's cool. So just the consistency piece.
They're cool, but you're better than all of them. I think that's part of the puzzle, right? Because obviously it's not talent that can bring somebody to the top. A lot of the times it is these big record labels with a budget that,
Mhm.
anybody can be. I mean, really, you could sing a song about raccoons, and with the right budget, it's going to go viral nowadays. So,
Right. Right.
there is some kind of like recipe there, which is where we come in to help a lot of people. We've been doing some mentoring about taking your career as an independent artist to the next level and
Mhm.
getting people to really stop sleeping on themselves, because I think that's the biggest thing that holds people back, and every excuse that we hear is like, oh, I don't have a budget, or I don't have this or that. But really, all you need nowadays is really your phone and, some Wi-Fi and a message.
Yeah, definitely. No, I agree with you. I say the land, the scope of things have definitely changed. Like, even if you think back to like the 50s, people used to have to go to a mall and sing in front of a mall and hope that some Motown exec is at that mall and discovers them. But those days are gone. I say you have people who are creating in their bedroom, like people are making beats, and then the beats are just like, even like the guys who post beats on YouTube, like there was this guy, he was posting this beats on YouTube, and J. Cole just happened to search his name, like he did like J. Cole type beat, just out of curiosity, and he found that guy's beat and made a song to it. So, and that was just something he made in his bedroom. So it's like, you don't need $1 million of resources anymore. I mean, you can use that. I mean, of course, that's what the label execs need. But if you got the creativity and like you open the door, let God in at the right moment, I think it really does help.
Right? I think the key that a lot of people are looking for is to surround yourself with people who support you. And it may not always be your family and friends, right?
Hmm.
And also to, like you said, to be consistent and to believe in yourself. I think it's interesting how that teacher recommended that you would be a good teacher. And maybe he wasn't wrong, because I see you as being a teacher through your music as well.
Yeah, I say, well, thank you for that. I mean, I can see that. I mean, I just my music, honestly, it's always that. I don't know. I just really talk about. I might sound a little self-consumed, but I talk about myself and my music and just how I feel at that moment and what I'm thinking, and what I think about. I'm really introspective, and in some ways it's really good, but in other ways, it can make yourself like really hard on yourself. So, I mean, that's the culmination of my music. Like I think about my good things and then my shortcomings, and ask myself why am I like that, or why am I not like that, or so. And it just so happens that when I was putting it out, it's weird because you guys, I think you guys met me around that album, but before that, I had like did these string of singles where I was just like trying to achieve some level of virality, I guess. And I wasn't really making music where my like heart was in it. And I was just saying, I'm gonna just put these out and see what happens. But it's weird because the people connected most with things that I didn't think. Like when I dropped Mr. Pennington, Mr. Pennington almost didn't get to go on that album because I didn't want to put it on that album. And my engineer was like, "This is too good of a song for the public not to hear it." But I was just gonna keep that in my in my my hard drives. But he actually made me put that on the album because I didn't think people were gonna like it. And it's crazy. Like that's one of the songs people like the most. It's like a 6 minute song.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy to think that almost didn't make it, because I would consider that some of your best work. And I see that very, very often with even some of the artists that I work with who are very well known. They do the same thing. And I'm thinking, like, bro, you are, killing it. And a lot of times it's like, well, artists might be in their head about what they think people want to hear rather than what's in their heart.
Right.
So yeah, I think that's important. You put your heart into it, and that those introspective lyrics, that's everything to me, because I think that's exactly what the people need. because music is medicine for all of us. And, especially the younger generation and people who may not have any type of introspective conversations on a daily basis, not at school, not with their family, not in their neighborhood, and they can put on a song and think a little deeper than they might usually on a normal basis.
Hmm. I agree. I agree. I mean, I've seen that firsthand. I mean, that's just now. That's the kind of music I make. Like on my next project is very. I would like to think very introspective. Um, it is. It was where I've been at for the last 2 or 3 years since my last piece.
Okay, so speaking of that, tell us about what is in store for Penn Davis. What kind of projects, collaborations, and what are some of your big goals coming up?
Well, I mean, I have music goals and I have non-music goals. So, I mean, I'll start off with the non-music goals just because it's only one big one right now. Um, I want to graduate. I'm in school right now, to get my master's. So I'm pursuing a master's degree in digital media management. And it has not been easy because I haven't been in college since 2018, and I just went back to school. I think December of last year, but I'll graduate December of this year. It's just a 1 year program, but it's like very strenuous. Like the classes are only like 4 to 7 weeks a piece, and it's a lot of work. I think my last paper I just typed last week was 100 pages, so it's crazy. So that's my non-music goals. But as far as music goes, I have an album that I'm dropping this year, Y.K.W.S.A. We've had these songs I've been working on probably over the last 2 years, and just perfecting them. So I have an album. I have a collab project that I'm also working on with one of my friends. His name is Tone, Two Tone. He was on the last project. He's on Faith. That's one of my best friends. I got some stuff working on with him. I have a string of singles, and then I have like a bunch of just like really creative reels that I want to start putting out as well. I say we're gonna record those. So that I plan on making like a bunch of merch. I also plan on throwing a concert for this specific project. I've never done my own concert where it's 100% me, and maybe I find like one or two opening acts. Man, I want to do it big. Like I want to pack it out. Like my goal for that in my head, I would love it if I could fill the room with 400, 500 people. I think I can. I don't think. Did you guys get a chance to come to my listening party? Like way back?
No, we didn't.
Unfortunately.
That's all good. I'm gonna throw another listening party. But even at that listening party, I didn't think anybody would come to that. I think around 100 people or so, if that. So if I can get 100 people, then for that, I think 300, 400, 500 people at a concert is, bad because I haven't seen anybody else like, well, I haven't seen a lot of people do listening parties and they get 100 plus people there, if they're not already famous. So it's just small reminders like that let me know in the future. I just have to keep doing it bigger and better. So for this year and the rest of the years, my goal is to really push myself to do the things that I'm scared of. So I get nervous when I don't get nervous in the creating process, but I get nervous with the sharing the music with others part. And I don't know why, but I do. But every time I find myself like just bold enough to push myself to do it anyways. And so that's what I'm gonna do. Like as I'm talking now, I think I'm gonna really. We just made that on the spot. I'm gonna brand that as my like mantra for the rest of the year. Do it anyways, because I overthink a lot, and that's not healthy for me. But I do it, and so whenever I think now, I'm just gonna tell myself just do it anyways, and we'll just go from there. Just do it anyways. So that's my goal, to do it anyways.
Yeah, do it anyways. And if you have a doubt, just give us a call. We'll whip you into shape and
Hype you up.
hype you up.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Yes. And we love that. Those are your goals for yourself.
Yeah.
And I like that you have a non-music goal and also a music goal.
Yes, congratulations.
Thank you. I say both are hard. I've been balancing. I've been doing both. Like I know a lot of people think if you're not dropping music, you probably aren't actively working, but I'm really am writing music a lot. And the songs are like really good. Like, I mean, objectively, it's much better than my last project so far. Like the song quality and just, I listened to my last album. I was in the car with myself probably 2 days ago, and I was running around listening to it, and I was like, man, I am such a better rapper now than I was then. So it really is showing. So people, when it does drop, people will hear it, and they're like, man, he really did grow in these last 2 years.
Yeah, I believe that. I'm excited to hear that. And you have our support. We listen to everything you do, and we would love to come see you at your album release party.
Hey, I say, come on, man. I say, when it's time, I'll let you guys know. I say it definitely be flyers and everything. So I'll send you guys one of those. And I say, you guys are out close to Fort Smith right now, right?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. I say, yeah. I had a job where I would take that ride to work every day. I would go from Little Rock to Fort Smith and then back. Like my job was in Little Rock, but I would go to Little Rock and then they would send us to like Fort Smith every
Oh, wow.
day. So like I didn't mind because you worked the 8 hour shift, so they included the drive in your 8 hour shift. So if you drive there 2 hours and you drive there back 2 hours, that's 4 hours plus a
Yeah.
1 hour lunch. You've only worked 3 real hours during the day.
Lord. Yeah, it's a nice drive. It's a nice drive.
Yeah. And I wasn't driving my own car. I was driving their car, so
Yo,
it didn't bother me.
That's hey. Here at the Mixtape Queens, we use this platform to help artists and brands spread their message. Is there any advice that you would like to give to people that are listening all over the world that need uplifting motivation?
I say as far as advice goes, just motivation. I mean, to everybody, man. I would say if it's something in your heart and you feel like you placed here to do that, I don't know people's religious status, but I believe that God doesn't put things on your heart to make it not real. But he also gives you we have free will, so it's up to you. So if it's in your heart, please don't ignore the things that are in your heart. Don't live for others. I mean, help people out, but don't live, you know, don't pursue your goals because you're scared of how it might take you away from the ability to help other people. And those are things that I'm learning right now. So just unapologetically go for the things that are put in your heart and just be a good person and, love everybody. And I feel like those, like the universe or God or whatever it is you want to call it, I think that energy will return in you tenfold. And treat people good because the same people you see on the way up, you're going to see them on the way down. So never think that you're more important or better than the person who, might have 10 followers on Instagram, versus you're 1,000 or just treat people good.
Yes, that's beautiful. Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, so we want everybody that's listening right now, go follow Penn Davis. It's Penn with 2 N's, PENNDAVIS, Penn
Yep.
Davis.
Yeah.
Do not forget the name. He is very special. Go stream his music on Apple Music, Spotify, Pandora, YouTube. Check him out on Instagram.
Yep.
And let's see, is there anything else that I missed?
I say, I say, yeah, that's all of them.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
And then DAVIS. So I got an
Right.
underscore because somebody else, her name is Penn Davis, and I don't know how she got that. So like, I have to use the underscore.
Yeah, so everybody go check out Penn Davis. And we just want to thank you so much. We love you very, very much. And you have all of our support, all of our good vibes sent your way.
Yes. Thank you again for coming on, King, and sharing your story and sharing your uniqueness with everybody and letting everybody else see how great you are like we did. So we're going to see you again on the podcast next time in person. And we hope that your week is full of blessings and prosperity.
All right. Bye-bye.
Rise like a phoenix into a realm of the unknown.